The movie, okay, the plot is, are you guys ready? This is going to shock you. The plot is about a train full of toxic chemicals.
Shut up.
That crashes
Shut up.
and puts all these chemicals in the
No
air,
way.
and it's really bad. Now, the minor coincidence about the movie and what happened in what I'm calling reality, what we finally refer to as clown world, is the movie was based in this very well-known town called Palestine, Ohio, with 181 residents.
Thank you all so much for clicking on today's video / podcast. Today we are going to be talking about something pretty nuts. What is it?
Well, we're going to be talking about the Ohio train crash. There's been no major coverage on this. The only coverage has been on independent media, on the internet. There's actually been Chinese sources that have been reporting on this. It's trending on Twitter now, hashtag Chernobyl. They're calling it the U.S. Chernobyl, but it has to do with this little tiny sleepy town called Palestine, Ohio.
There's like 181 people there.
Yeah, it has a population of 181, which is actually a blessing in disguise. There's a lot of peripheral issues with this, and it's largely in part why no mainstream or no government talk has come out about this. So Clayton Marsh of Redacted, they did a story. They actually had boots on the ground with a guy that was reporting from there within the last day or two, and there was literally no activity there. There was no EPA activity there. There was no federal activity there, which is hard to fathom even as to control the spin on it. But
real quick, I want to tell you all about the best way to support this channel. If you're loving the content that you're watching right now and you want to support us, I would love for you to go check out TheTexasBoys.com, where we sell our locally sourced, farm fresh, non-pasteurized, non-vaccinated honey in 1 gallon, 5 pound, 44 ounce, 22 ounce, 1 pound, and 14 ounce honeys. We got pumpkin spice honey, we got pecan honey, both creamed honeys. This is just a normal 1 pound honey. Both of these are creamed, and then these are just in their awesome raw state honey. Moving on, we have our native brew coffee line with several more coffees than this, but we have Columbia, Southern Pecan, Hazelnut, Jamaican Me Crazy, and Vanilla here on the table. Absolutely incredible coffees. Go check them out. So this right here is our native mushroom brew. I absolutely love this. If you're not a coffee fan, or maybe even if you are, I would love for you to go try this stuff out. 7 different types of mushrooms, and also we have a native mud version of this too, and that has cocoa powder in it. And what I really love to do with this stuff is put a scoop of it in my coffee. And y'all, that is absolutely incredible. So go check out the Texas Boys today. I'll let y'all get back to your video.
It's so weird.
So long story short, this was about 2 weeks ago. These cars derailed. They piled up. They were full of highly toxic chemicals. Many of these chemicals were stored in refrigerated cars, and they became highly volatile above 8 degrees Fahrenheit. Thankfully, it's winter in Ohio. But what they determined after they ran their calculations and trusted all the scientism on all that stuff is they were like, well, basically, we have to do a controlled demo of this stuff so that it doesn't explode like Hiroshima and whatnot. So they did all these calculations. They dug these trenches. They tried to contain it. They blew it up, and basically it aerosolized like all these toxic chemicals. Now there's an enormous amount of speculation that basically all the streams, rivers, and tributaries coming from there, this all flows into the Mississippi. They're saying the well water's polluted, the streams, rivers, and tributaries are polluted. hundreds of thousands of fish are going belly up in the streams.
Mm.
There's talk of surrounding areas, animals dropping dead. There's all kind of health problems. They did evacuate the residents. There's residents that are claiming that they're never moving back to the area just because they think that the residual...
it's so contaminated.
Yeah. One local resident was calling it... I forget the big military base that contaminated all the water in North Carolina. The name escapes me at the time, but basically they're comparing it to that, and nobody has any concept of the long-term ramifications of all of this. So a little of the histrionics and the political angles on this is, the rail workers were going to strike, which would have crushed the infrastructure at the time. So the government intervened, and they basically made it illegal for them to strike. Well, some of the issues that they were supposedly striking about were these safety issues, these safety checks, electrical braking systems, and different types of protocols that would have prevented an event exactly like this.
Wow.
There's lots of weird, strange things. There's video footage of the train that derailed 20 miles before it got there, was already on fire. It was on surveillance footage. So there's definitely talks of, was this sabotage?
Yeah.
And here's the craziest, most psycho. All right. We are in 1984, so we should all expect this by now. But there is a movie on Netflix. That came out. Okay, no, it's way crazier than that.
Really?
Okay, so there's a movie on Netflix that came out before Christmas. Okay.
That wasn't that long ago.
The movie, the plot is, are you guys ready? This is going to shock you. The plot is about a train full of toxic chemicals.
Shut up.
That crashes.
Shut up.
And puts all these chemicals in the air, and it's really bad. Now, the minor coincidence about the movie and what happened in what I'm calling reality, what we finally refer to as Clown World, is the movie was based in this very well-known town called Palestine, Ohio, with 181 residents.
No way.
So
Wait,
much
seriously?
Seriously.
Wait, whoa.
So much so.
Wait, what?
That literal residents of Palestine, Ohio, were in the movie as extras. Okay.
What?
So are imitating life, imitating fiction, imitating
way too close.
Reality.
That's way too close to reality.
Synchronicity, imitating.
That has to be sabotage.
Coinky dink.
That has to be.
I have no idea. So I'm going to read this Zero Hedge article.
Wow.
Ohio Chernobyl, East Palestine Town Hall scrapped after residents report health problems nearly 2 weeks after Norfolk Southern Railway freight train with 150 cars, 20 of which were carrying hazardous materials, derailed in a small town of East Palestine, Ohio, resulting in a chemical disaster. The extent of the damage to the town and surrounding communities remain unclear. On Tuesday, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine held a press conference for the February 3rd derailment. He said Norfolk Southern did not classify the train as a highly hazardous material train despite multiple cars containing toxic chemical vinyl chloride. Now here's the thing, y'all. If you stagger these cars out, right?
Yeah.
This catastrophic wonder doesn't even happen.
It's almost like they wanted it to happen.
Right. And I just, and I'm not smart. I'm not, I didn't go to school for this or anything. But that was all part of this legislation that passed prior. They used to have to notify towns when when trains carrying highly toxic chemicals were coming through. They had to notify them with the date and time and all that stuff.
It was almost like they were carrying toxic chemicals that would be really bad if they got out into the environment.
Yeah, it's almost like a lab leak. It's kind of weird, man. But anyway, so they obviously didn't notify the town, and
Of
then
course.
they
Sounds good.
conveniently accidentally 150 cars.
What in the world?
150,
That's a lot.
which is a lot.
That's a
okay,
lot.
I mean, I'm not a math major. That's a lot, right? Now, 20 of those cars had highly toxic chemicals on them.
Okay.
So basically, you had 130 cars to play with, y'all.
Yeah.
Where you could have spread this out a little bit. These things didn't have to be back to back to back. I forget how many cars piled up. I think it was 20. No, I don't know. But it's weird. Only 20 cars carrying toxic chemicals
All the rest,
accidentally collided with
all
each
the other 130 didn't. They are perfectly
unscathed.
fine. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I mean,
The world.
you can't make this stuff up.
And there was no better way to like, I don't know.
You know, they ran all the calculations,
I guess
and
so.
they wanted to do the most cost-effective thing. Of course, BlackRock's involved. You know,
Of course.
all the usual deep pockets that own the different infrastructure. It's the same usual suspects, and they graciously donated like $25,000 to help relocate these people, which is
Good.
like such a joke.
That warms my heart.
Mm-hmm. So this is absurd. Congress needs to take a look at how these things are handled, DeWine said, which why we always want to just be like, yeah, the government needs to fix this. I mean, the government caused it, and we want them to fix it. So, and the other main issue on all this train shenanigans is this was all uniparty move. So the Bloods and the Crips were both involved. The Dems and the Repubs were all involved in this whole thing, you know, to make America great again.
Of course,
okay.
of course.
There's already an effort by lawmakers on Capitol Hill and federal agencies to investigate the derailment. Oh, great. We'll spend millions doing that, I'm sure. Key committees in the Republican-controlled House are holding their peace as investigators of the derailment and its environmental impact proceed. A spokesperson for the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, led by Chairman Sam Graves, said that the committee was talking to the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, and the Department of Transportation's Federal Railroad Administration and the railroad involved, Norfolk Southern. We will continue to monitor the situation and NTSB's ongoing investigation. Investigators have uncovered security cameras footage 20 miles before East Palestine of the suspected rail car that caused the derailment. Footage shows one of the cars was on fire well before the small town.
What in the world?
So there you go. NTSB investigators have identified and examined a rail car that initiated the derailment. Surveillance video from the residents show what appears to be a wheel bearing in the final stage of overheat failure moments before the derailment. So the Zero Hedge article has the Twitter feed with the video in it. We're also looking at a lot of different footage that has been provided to the investigators out there to determine if there's some data on footage that we have from videos and cameras that might tell us something more, that what might have happened to cause the accident. At a follow-on briefing on February 5th, Graham said investigators were analyzing locomotive footage. He said the focus was one of the rail car's axles. We have obtained two videos which show preliminary indications of mechanical issues on one of the rail car's axles.
Weird.
Then an emergency brake application initiated, continued, adding that a preliminary investigation report was expected within several weeks, though a full probe could take as long as 24 months. As investigators pinpoint the likely cause of the derailment, the environmental impact of the controlled burn of 20 rail cars that contain toxic chemicals, including vinyl chloride, ethyl hexyl acrylate, and isobutylene. Oh,
Ooh, yummy.
They're all in your toothpaste, y'all. Just
Oh,
let you
yeah.
know. Okay. Has released what some described as a chemical nuclear bomb
Oh, good.
that has contaminated the town and other surrounding communities. Following the burn, there have been numerous reports of wildlife dying, including fish and frogs in nearby streams.
We don't need them anyway.
People have reported that their chickens, dogs, and horses were either sick or died.
Oh.
People in East Palestine and surrounding communities have reported various symptoms that they can't explain since the burn, according to News 5 Cleveland. Teresa
Dadgum.
Viglotti said she hasn't felt right since the controlled release. Oh, that's like the lab release? No, the controlled release.
Yeah.
And burn after
Not
train
chicken
cars derailed more than a week ago. She sent us a picture of her tongue. I knew my lips were numb. Wow.
Whoa.
Sounds like fun stuff. The soft palate of my mouth was numb. My tongue was
Whoa.
burning and my throat was burning. We asked what was her biggest concern was, that I'm going to get cancer and die.
Yeah, for real. Wow.
And on a long enough timeline, people exposed to vinyl chloride might have an increased risk of developing a rare form of liver cancer.
Wow.
Hepatic
That'd be bad.
angiosarcoma, liver cancer, hepatocellular sarcoma, brain and lung cancers, lymphoma, and leukemia.
That is not good.
That's terrible. So, yeah, there's not a ton of talk on this. Like I said, I know Clayton Mars did it. Democracy Now! Posted a video on this.
But the mainstream's not.
None of the
talking about it?
mainstream.
Like
I think
Fox, CNN, none of them.
I think Pete Buttigieg, Pete Buttigieg. Finally, they kept pushing him. He was bragging about how awesome our infrastructure is, but I think Pete Buttigieg finally said something about it. He was with his husband and all that stuff. You know, Pete Buttigieg. So, but Pete
What in the
Buttigieg's on it, so nothing to fear, y'all.
That's good. At
Nothing
least.
like sending a boy to do a man's job. Pete Buttigieg. So there you go. That's
What in the world?
the U.S. Chernobyl incident. I'll link the Zero Hedge article
Yeah, absolutely.
down below. And let's be praying for these people.
Absolutely.
Like I said, all these streams and tributaries run into the Mississippi. So that's super not good. And, you know, this is already affecting the surrounding area. It's already contaminated the soil.
Yeah.
So we'll continue to learn the literal fallout of this ecologically over the next year or so. And these poor people are going to be outplaced at a minimum.
Yeah. Well, thank you all so much for watching today's podcast or listening in. We very much appreciate it. And remember to subscribe to the channel and thumbs up today's video.
Also, join us on Rumble.
Absolutely.
Because we're over there.
Yeah.
And we're rumbling, fumbling, stumbling, bumbling.
Yeah. And we got awesome t-shirts on TheTexasBoys.com.
And I just had a subscriber text me today with a new great t-shirt
I know.
idea.
And
So we're going to be rolling out a new t-shirt.
New t-shirt.
And so keep your eye out in the upcoming videos. We'll probably roll that out on our next video.
Yeah, on the next video. All right, y'all. Love y'all so much. Bye-bye.
See y'all.